Okay, you guys, so I'm making you a tutorial, an online tutorial to show you guys how to sort data effectively and properly. And I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes so that it doesn't look like it's all fuzzy when I put it on YouTube. So I'm going to use this technique whenever you have 50 roaches that you need to put into, make sure that the number and the sample size are the same for both treatments, or if you have, in the way that I've set this up, I say you have 3 treatments with 3 replicates each. And that means that you have 3 treatments. That means you have a control treatment, Roundup ready to use treatment, and glyphosate treatment, for example, with 3 replicates. So that means you have 3 controls, 3 Roundups, 3 glyphosates. And what you want to do is you want to sort these worms so that you have the equal number of worms in each pile and an equal weight of worms in each pile, right? Because let's say that you make a group that's super heavy and then you find an effect, you won't know if the effect is real or if the effect is being driven by weight. So by using this technique, you're saving yourself the heartache of having different weights to begin with. Okay, so I've made a fake database for you where we've got worm number and worm weight. So what this means is you can go all the way down to the bottom here. You can see that in pretend land, we have weighed 432 worms, and we put them in a petri dish with a number, and this is the number of grams that they weigh. Okay, and like I said, we're doing 3 treatments and 3 replicates. So that means that 3 times 3 is 9. That means that we have to set up these worms for 9 tanks. So this is really just really a sorting technique. So we're going to make nine tanks. Okay, so what do we do first? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a new column right here called tank number, and it's just going to be 1 through 9. We're going to say which worm goes into which tank. Okay, how do we do that? What we're going to do is we're going to grab these 2. We can actually grab all 3. There's doesn't matter. And we are going to, and how did I grab them? Let me do that again slowly. I grabbed them by going over the letter. So A, B, C. That means I've grabbed the entirety of column A, B, and C with my cursor. Now I can sort it by 2 ways. I can do it old school by going up here and doing data and doing sort, or I can go over here and I can do sort and filter. I'm going to do it this way because what's wrong with new. Okay, and we're going to do custom sort. Okay, and so now we can just tell it to what to sort by. Right now it's not sorting by anything, but if we do a drop down, these 3 variables right here correlate with the 3 that I selected. Since I selected all 3, it's giving me the option to sort by all 3. Sorting by tank would be dumb because there's nothing in there. What we're going to do is we're going to sort by worm weight. And we're going to ignore the other, and it's going to go from smallest to largest. I'm going to click OK. Wah! Now we can see that our smallest worms weigh 0.01, and our biggest worms way down here weigh 0.09. Okay, so we always want to throw out the smallest and the largest worms. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to copy a blank cell, and I'm going to paste it for all these 0.01s. Okay, and then all of these worms that we just deleted from our data set, somebody can go take them off the desktop, and not the desktop, the workbench, and go let them loose upstairs into one of the containers so that we don't kill the worms for nothing. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete these heavy worms too, these 0.09s. And that means that all of our worms are now between 0.07 grams and 0.02 grams. Okay, now like I said before, those worms are sitting in petri dishes on the desktop, right, on the workbench, and we went and found those on our data set, and we're going to go let those loose upstairs into the tank. Okay, now what I'm doing right here is I've just selected our data. How did I do that? Let me show you again how I did that slow. So I went here and I used my mouse and I went there, but then if you hit Shift Command down arrow, it selects all of the data right there. So now I've got all the data held in my in my hand right now. So I'm going to copy that. So I just hit Command C. I hit Command X. I put my cursor where I want it to go, and I hit Command V. So I just copied, cut, and pasted, and now I've got my smaller data set. Now I have, you can see here, 419 worms that are remaining in the data set. All right, so now you can see that we've got worms that start at 0.02, 0.02, 0.02, 0.02. And what we're going to do, we have 9 tanks to put them in. So tank 1, tank 2, tank 3, tank 4, tank 5, tank 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means that each of these 9 tanks are getting the smallest worms. And we're going to just do that over and over again. So everybody got 2 small worms. Everybody got 3 small worms. Okay, and so on and so forth. So that means that I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to take all of these like that, and I'm just going to copy and paste those until I've used up all of the worms. And we're going to see if we have extras. I didn't do any special math to make sure that this worked out neatly. And remember, we want to end up with the same number of worms in each tank and the same weight of worms in each tank. Okay, so you can see that we have these extra worms right here. So we're going to take worm 412, 247, 59, and 157, and we are going to let them loose to live their worm lives back in the tank upstairs. All right. Oops. Okay. So now that means that right now we have sorted our data, but it's still hard to find because look, how are we going to know? How are we going to go? So we have to go find worm 215 and stick it in tank 1, worm 34 and stick it in tank 2, 250 and stick it in tank 3. That sounds like a pain in the ass. So this is what we're going to do to make our lives easier. We're going to grab the columns again. We're going to go to sort, and we're going to do custom sort. This time we're going to sort by tank number. So that's going to put all the ones together. And we're going to add another variable because maybe we want to also sort by worm number. Okay, okay. So now you can see that for tank 1 gets a shitload of worms, right? Look at all these worms that go into tank 1. And all these go into tank 2. Okay, so let's just see that how many worms do we have going into tank 1. All right, so you can see right in the corner on the bottom right there where it says 46R times 3C, that means we've got 46 worms into tank 1. Okay, that's a lot of worms. We wouldn't normally have that many worms in one tank, but it's an exercise. So anyway, now we can find worms 3, 21, 32, 38, blah, 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 and put them into tank 1. We can put worms 10, 24, 28, 34 into tank 2, etc. All right? All right, so that's the first part of your homework right there. And I'm going to end this tutorial, and I'm going to load it right now. Thanks, guys.